My parents skipped my wedding because I tied the knot before my flawless sister, and now their carefully crafted family picture is unraveling. After 4 years together, I, a 30-year-old woman, got married 6 months ago. Everyone attended except my sister, Elise, 28, and our parents. Their choice to skip stunned me, though I wasn't entirely surprised by Elise's absence given our strained history. Looking back, I should have seen it coming. Let me explain our family dynamics. I can't fully fault my parents for always favoring Elise. From childhood, she excelled at everything. As soon as she could toddle, she commanded every room. She swept every spelling contest, science expo, and talent show in grade school. In high school, she was student council president, valedictorian, and homecoming queen. Tall, lean, and striking, she dabbled in modeling during college before earning her finance degree. Her first modeling gig came in her second year, and I still recall it. My parents threw a grand party, inviting all our relatives and her friends. Her first professional portrait was framed and hung above our mantel, where it still sits. That same year, I earned my software engineering degree, and they barely muttered, "Good job," before diving back into planning Elise's next shoot. She landed a job at a top firm after graduation, scaling the ranks fast. At 28, she's a senior manager with a plush office and company car. Meanwhile, I'm a mid-level coder at a solid tech firm. I love my job, but it's not the kind that parents flaunt at family gatherings. Plus, I'm shorter and curvier than Elise. Growing up, my mom made harsh comments about my looks, enrolled me in fitness programs I hated, and pushed diets on me. She'd say, "Elise never has weight issues," or, "You could be as stunning as your sister with a bit more work." By high school, I'd learned to shrug off her words, but they stung. Over time, I accepted that my parents never celebrated my wins like they did Elise's. What could I do? For years, I chased their approval, taking classes they suggested, joining clubs they liked, even trying modeling briefly, a flop Elise still teases me about. Nothing worked. I was just the other daughter, while they were captivated by Elise's triumphs. In my mid-20s, I stopped trying. I focused on building my own life, growing in my career, and connecting with people who valued me for me. Honestly, things got better after that. Knowing my parents obsessed over appearances, I kept our interactions shallow to avoid fights. At obligatory holiday dinners or rare family events, I'd nod and smile as they gushed about Elise's latest promotion, boyfriend, or getaway. With Elise to fawn over, they barely noticed my emotional distance. Then, at a tech summit, I met my husband through a colleague. He saw me, really saw me, unlike my family. He loved my sharp wit, my coding skills, even my figure from the start. He never suggested I change or compared me to anyone. After 4 years, he proposed at home, over takeout and our favorite show. It was perfect. When I told my parents I was engaged last year, their response was a red flag. No congratulations, just silence. My mom asked if I was sure about rushing in, and suggested I tone up before the wedding. My dad said little. At the engagement party, my husband noticed their odd vibe, which I was too nervous to fully grasp. They spent most of the night huddled over my mom's phone. Later, he overheard them talking to Elise, who was sobbing. He caught snippets about, "This wasn't supposed to happen," and, "We didn't expect Lena to marry first." Wedding planning hit snags. My mom, who'd curated endless vision boards for Elise's hypothetical wedding, showed no interest in helping me pick a dress or venue. When I chose a simple, elegant A-line gown that made me feel radiant, she called it sensible and flattering for my shape. My future mother-in-law, who embraced me like her own, handled most of the planning with me. My husband and I meticulously checked the guest list to ensure no one was missed, sending both digital and paper invites. I know my parents got theirs. Digital invites had red receipts. When they didn't RSVP, I called, texted, and emailed. They either ignored me or gave vague replies about checking their calendars. With the wedding looming, I couldn't dwell on it. My in-laws stepped up, helping with everything from table settings to bouquets. At the bridal shower my husband's sister threw, no one mentioned my family's absence, though it was glaring. The wedding day was stunning despite them. We had a morning ceremony in a garden, followed by a relaxed afternoon reception. Everyone said we looked blissful and in love, but their absence hurt. Like when I saw their empty front row seats or skipped the father-daughter dance. Post-wedding and honeymoon, I sought answers. When I finally reached them by phone, they claimed they were devastated and never got a proper invite. My mom ranted about my carelessness, saying she'd always dreamed of planning her daughter's weddings and couldn't fathom why I'd exclude them. Confused, I double-checked our records during the call. The invites were sent, delivery confirmed. I didn't call out their gaslighting. I just apologized for the mix-up and hung up. Later, my husband pointed out signs of their true motives, like their shock, not joy, at our engagement, or their excuses to avoid planning. He'd held back during the wedding prep to spare me stress. But the pattern was clear. The idea of me, the lesser daughter, marrying before their golden Elise was unbearable. Their actions confirmed what I'd long suspected but resisted. I'd never measure up to Elise in their eyes. The saddest part? Even my wedding, a day for love and new beginnings, became another stage for their obsession with their perfect family image, with Elise as the star. Recently, relatives told me, Elise got engaged to a guy she's dated for a year. In family group chats I'm not part of, my parents are thrilled, raving about planning a grand wedding for her. They're already bragging about booking elite venues and designer dresses, with my mom taking Elise to exclusive fittings. Moments I never got. Interestingly, many relatives are now refusing to attend Elise's engagement party or wedding. My parents' absence at my wedding sparked family gossip. When relatives ask why my parents skipped my wedding, I tell the truth. They couldn't handle me marrying before their favorite daughter. I stick to facts, no embellishment, no plea for pity. A few days ago, my parents contacted me, accusing me of sabotaging Elise's wedding. They claim relatives are dodging her events because I'm spreading lies out of jealousy over her lavish plans. My cousin, who Elise confided in, said people are hesitant because they've heard how my parents treated me. My parents insist I'm envious and ruining their reputation. But I'm just sharing what happened. If the truth paints them poorly, maybe they should reflect on their actions instead of blaming me. I'm finding it harder to fake a relationship with them. Their absence at my wedding showed me I'll never be enough for them, no matter what I do. The hardest part isn't their absence anymore. It's accepting I never had the loving parents I craved. I'm focusing on building a life with someone who truly values me, and I'll update if anything major shifts. First update. 2 weeks after my last post, a lot has happened. After reading your supportive comments, I decided to confront my parents in person about their absence at my wedding and their accusations that I'm ruining Elise's big day. Their texts about their tarnished legacy pushed me to lay it all out. On the call, they quickly accused me of envying Elise and orchestrating the drama. Instead of defending myself as usual, I did something new. I agreed, but not how they expected. You're right, I said. I'm jealous. Not of Elise's job, looks, or wins. I'm jealous of the unconditional love you've always given her, which you never tried to give me. Silence followed. My mom claimed I was overreacting, insisting they treated us equally. Something snapped in me. Years of buried feelings poured out. I listed every birthday overshadowed by Elise's latest triumph. Like when my mom canceled my graduation dinner for Elise's modeling audition. How Elise's prom dress cost more than my college books for a year. Despite my dad trying to interrupt, saying I was exaggerating, I pressed on. I spoke of watching them plan Elise's dream wedding for years while ignoring mine. How it felt to see their seats empty. How my mother-in-law stepped in for everything. Their response was telling. Instead of owning up, they turned it on me. Why didn't you say this sooner? My mom demanded, as if I hadn't tried for years. My dad called me unfair for sharing these feelings with relatives. Then my mom said something that clarified it all. We always knew you were insecure about Elise's success, but we never thought you'd stoop to ruining her wedding out of spite. That's not how we raised you. I realized they weren't hearing me. They saw it as Elise's issue, not their fault. Even in a talk about their absence from my wedding, they cared more about her upcoming one. For the first time, I didn't smooth things over. I didn't apologize. I spoke plainly. You're right about one thing. You raised me. You taught me I'd never be enough. That Elise's wins always trumped mine. That your perfect family image mattered more than my feelings. But you also taught me I deserve better, even if you didn't mean to. After a long pause, my dad spoke coldly. If you've decided we're awful parents, maybe we should stop pretending. We thought you'd help fix this as family, but you've made your choice. My mom landed the final blow. We tried to treat you both fairly, but maybe you just couldn't handle not being the star. That's on you, Lena, for choosing to play the victim. I didn't argue. Why bother? They'd just proved my point. I said goodbye and hung up. After, I felt oddly relieved. I cried, but not the desperate tears of my youth. These were freeing. For the first time, I'd said everything without guilt or restraint. Later, my husband found me watching the sunset on our porch. He sat, took my hand, and stayed quiet. After a while, I asked, "They're never going to change, are they?" He squeezed my hand. "No, but you have. And that's what matters." He's right. I'm not the kid scrambling for their approval anymore. The woman who walked away from that call doesn't need their validation. It hurts to accept they'll never be the parents I need, but it's less painful than hoping they'll change. I don't care about Elise's wedding or the family drama. I've said my piece, and they can face the fallout. The strangest part? I feel a lifelong weight lifted. It's not the happy ending I wanted with my parents. But maybe it's the one I needed. Freedom from chasing love that should have been mine. Second update. 3 days after my clash with my parents, things took an unexpected turn. Elise jumped into the fray, but her approach backfired spectacularly. Yesterday morning, she sent me a carefully worded text, dripping with the smug tone she's honed over years. What you said to Mom and Dad was completely out of line. They've given us everything, supported us every step. You can't just accuse them of being bad parents because you're insecure about your life choices. She went on, mixing superiority with subtle digs. I get that your wedding wasn't what you hoped, but that doesn't mean you should sabotage mine. There's nothing wrong with wanting a celebration that reflects the hard work some of us put into meeting high standards. Not everything's a competition, Lena. I didn't reply. Years of dealing with her manipulation taught me engaging just fuels her. I blocked her number. Elise hates being ignored, so I thought that'd be it. Hours later, my husband called me at work, laughing so hard he could barely talk. Unable to reach me, Elise had dug up his personal number, likely through a mutual contact, and sent him a flurry of texts explaining why our sisterly bond has always been rocky. Her first message started politely. As Lena's sister and someone who values our family's harmony, I feel I must reach out. But it quickly revealed her true aim. She told my husband, as the new man in Lena's life, he had a duty to make me act more appropriately. Her texts grew condescending, lecturing him, a software architect with an MBA, about complex family dynamics and how someone like Lena might not see the bigger picture. She urged him to help me see reason before I ruin family ties. The real clincher was her appeal to what she thought were his ambitions. Surely you see the value of maintaining ties with successful family like me. Lena's actions are hurting her prospects. And yours. My husband, who sees through Elise's games, found her manipulation hilarious, especially her assumption that her corporate status or networking promises would sway him. She really doesn't know me, does she? He said. That night we read her texts together, laughing instead of feeling hurt. Seeing Elise's tactics laid bare, aimed at someone immune to them, was freeing. This showed me something about her. Despite her accolades, she's still the insecure teen who lifts herself by cutting others down. Her belief she could control me through my husband shows how little she understands real relationships. Her shift from direct texts to targeting my husband when I didn't respond was telling. She did the same in high school, turning my friends against me when she couldn't push me around. Same playbook, different decade. My reaction now is different. 10 years ago, her words would have sparked self-doubt. 5 years ago, I'd have been wounded. Now, I'm just tired of the drama and amused by her obvious ploys. My husband's reply was perfect, avoiding her trap. Thanks for your concern for Lena. As her husband, I'm focused on her happiness, not controlling her. Please address any issues directly with her. Have a good day. Elise fired back one last text. I see she's turned you against the family too. Don't say I didn't warn you when this blows up. Ironically, her help has solidified my choice to distance myself from my family's toxic patterns. Her texts prove nothing's changed. She's still the schemer who needs to control the narrative and sees any deviation as a threat. The best part? Her plan to divide us only brought my husband and me closer. Instead of drama, we laughed, planned a weekend getaway, and moved on. Real family isn't about facades or scripts. It's about standing united, laughing together, and backing each other when someone tries to manipulate you, even your sister. I'm more resolved to steer clear of Elise's wedding chaos and focus on our happiness, free from my family's power games. True success isn't about impressing others. It's about owning your choices and surrounding yourself with people who lift you up. By that measure, I've never felt more accomplished. Third update. 2 weeks after Elise's failed attempt to sway my husband, things have taken surprising twists. The drama's escalating, despite my parents' frantic efforts to salvage their image. Relatives told me they've been calling everyone, accusing me of spreading malicious lies out of envy for Elise's perfect wedding. They now claim I deliberately excluded them from my wedding to play the victim, insisting I sent their invite to an old email and address. Odd, since they've lived in the same house for decades and used the same email forever. Their damage control is flopping. Family isn't buying it. Several relatives shared their own stories of my parents' favoritism, like an aunt recalling my mom's past stunts at family events to make Elise the star. The most satisfying shift is how my extended family's responding. Key relatives, some slated for big roles in Elise's wedding, are pulling out. They may lose the exclusive venues secured through family connections. And a family friend's high-end dress shop suddenly has scheduling issues. Things boiled over at a family gathering last weekend. When someone asked about my wedding, photos, my mom lost it, launching a defensive rant about how I'd changed after marriage and was tearing the family apart out of jealousy. Her outburst shocked relatives unaware of the drama, further denting their polished image. The irony? Their desperate attempts to preserve their perfect family facade are what's unraveling it. Every time they justify skipping my wedding, they reveal more of their true selves. The more they paint me as the villain, the more people see their manipulation. Family members who stayed neutral are now choosing sides. Even my dad's brother, who always kept quiet for peace, apologized for not speaking up sooner about my parents' treatment of me. He and his family won't attend Elise's wedding events. I haven't had to respond directly. The truth is, doing the work. My parents and Elise expose more of their toxicity every time they twist the story. All those years of staying silent to keep the peace were just enabling their behavior. My husband put it best. They built a perfect family image on manipulation and favoritism. It was bound to collapse. I'm doing better than ever. I'm free from chasing my parents' approval or managing Elise's drama. For the first time, I'm not worried about their ideal image. Sometimes, the best revenge is letting the truth speak. Thanks to Reddit for giving me the strength to stand up for myself. Your support has shown me what real family encouragement looks like, even from strangers online.